Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice, just me having some fun here. And so it's been a while since I've gone over charts, done a formal video on them. I have just really needed a break because, in all honesty, YouTube rewards videos that perform very well, but videos that perform very well are chased by herds of sheep. And that is what leads them out to slaughter in the market. And yeah, so there's no real incentive to make good performing videos on YouTube because that is rewarding bad behavior in the market. And when I do make videos that I think are really spot on analysis, I might be right, I might be wrong, but what I'm looking at is there. And, I think that we can be critical of that. We can be constructive of that. And one of the tickers that has really stood out to me has been Neo. And yeah, I mean, I was calling the top around maybe 6 to 8, definitely 7 to 8. And I got a lot of backlash for that. I ended up being right. But then with that, there's some emotion with that. And, I think Neo could still be going lower, but it did just rally recently. So, I have no idea. And, the best performing videos that I have, I say it's pumped up 100% or, whatever it is, it might be pulling back some. People bash me for that. And, if I was doing this full time for a living, that would be one thing. But, I do my job for a living, come home and put a lot of work into YouTube. It's just not worth it. So, yeah, I've been trying to have more fun. It's a big part of the channel. This is DGenEd, that's degenerative education, meaning, it's just me having fun, looking at charts, playing games, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I have been, still being a DGen, having fun, playing games. Arc Raiders is awesome. Resident Evil. I do stream those, so you guys are welcome to hang out. It's possible I'll go over charts with them, but I think it's just really, really important for us to develop theses or thesis that works for oneself and not for the masses. And everybody's going to be different. And, I've really just been kind of disengaged from the market because I've just been doing kind of like a very boring dollar cost average with crypto. I was right about it for about this first half of last year. And then the second half of last year, I've been kind of wrong. Yeah, so I've just been doing that dollar cost averaging and a little bit of trading here and there on the sides. But other than that, it's just basically like I got some bills coming up. And so I've been putting most of my energy into that. And, I just had this, I got this hair on my face somewhere, sorry. I've been having this idea that, well, I've got two accounts basically for trading. One in Webull, that's my main trading account. One in Robinhood, which is kind of like legacy from, back in the day, 2021, when the big squeeze, all of that happened. The big short squeeze, I guess I should say. Um, and also I use Robinhood for crypto. But really, for trading stocks, I use Webull, Robinhood, kind of miscellaneous, but I'm not too active with stocks on it. And so what I was thinking is in my Webull account, I just have this kind of like remainder of around $100 in there. And I was thinking, well, I got these bills coming up. Maybe I should just take that money out, take care of the bills, don't worry about it. And yeah, or I could let's see, leave that in there, see what happens. And the bills that I'm talking about, it's basically just like I have a little bit of credit card debt, 0 APR. I like playing that game. Take that cash and either put it into savings to get interest, which I did initially, but then I started putting it into crypto, and now that's come down. I could have, sold a bunch of Ethereum in profit, pay off that debt. But I just didn't want the short-term capital gains tax. And if I wait until maybe July, August of this year, if I sell any of that Ethereum, ideally in profit, right now in the red a little bit, but then I would have short, long-term capital gains tax. So that's kind of why I want to do that. I don't really want to decrease my Ethereum position, so I didn't do that. And so now, basically, I think the 5th of April, my 0 APR goes away, and I think I'm gonna be right at it. I might owe a little bit of interest on like a couple $100 which I'll then pay off my next paycheck, so no big deal. But ideally, I would not do that. And, so that should come first, and then trading and all this other stuff second. But then, thinking about that $100 in my Webull account, I'm just going to leave it there. Maybe I'll take it out if it makes a difference with that bill in the end. If it doesn't, no big deal. I'm not worried about that at all. Just, we got to prioritize stuff. And so that's what I'm doing. And, I could have prioritized a little bit more responsibly, but I'm not completely reckless. So I think that's okay. But yeah, with that $100, I was then thinking, well, Webull is kind of, my standard account. Robinhood's kind of special. Maybe what I want to do is do like $100 in Robinhood, and then I can kind of check in on that on a weekly basis, maybe as a video, maybe not. And the idea would be to do one trade basically per week, identify a level that I think something would dip to, or maybe top to, buy some puts up there. I don't know, just $100, so it's not a lot of money. Kind of limits what I can do with it. But then, hopefully to grow that $100, 10, 20% a week, that would be really nice. Get it up to 200, and keep going with that and just kind of develop a strategy, because doing YouTube, doing this stuff, it's, not going to be enough. It's not even enough for part-time income. It's very, very limited. And, like I said, I don't think that the success on YouTube rewards success in the market. And I think that it's a more promising future being successful in the market than on YouTube. At least that's what I'd like to focus on. But I really haven't been doing that. I've just been doing this daily dollar cost averaging with crypto, largely Bitcoin. And, it's really not that exciting. And so I've been disengaged from the market. And, what's a way for me to re-engage? And that could be with, this $100 thing. Try to grow that, develop skills, identify one trade, don't overtrade, make some money on a weekly basis. But again, I've got these bills coming up. I don't want to be putting more money into my account. And then so I had this idea that I'm sure a lot of you are not going to like, but, it's what I'm doing. You don't have to do it. I'm just sharing what I'm doing. Really, I'm doing this for myself. I'm just recording it because last night in the Resident Evil 2 stream, 2 people voted in a poll for me to do a stock video today. So that's what I'm doing. And this is really just, my thought process. It's something that I think will work for me. Or, maybe not. And it's just an experiment. And part of that is, a bad result. So we'll see. But yeah, what I'm thinking about for this $100, I think you're not going to like it, but I think that this is an interesting compromise. I think it's an interesting idea. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through that. And then I'll identify some trades. I'm just going to go through basically a list of stocks that I have kind of arbitrarily up here. We'll look at some unusual whales flow and see what's going on, see what looks exciting for a trade for the week. And then ideally to close it by Friday, open it Monday, close it Friday. Or maybe I don't even open it. Maybe the levels don't get hit. We'll have to see. And maybe, it doesn't get hit on Monday, and maybe there are a few different trades. Maybe one trade hits, another one doesn't. So I'll be evaluating this on a daily basis. Not going to be looking at it too closely at work because I work in a lab. I'm usually wearing gloves, maybe working with some gross chemicals, and I can't, be checking my phone and trading and, paying too close attention. So anyways, my idea, which I'm sure you guys are not going to like, is based on AMC. Okay, so AMC over here, I've drawn a bunch of stuff on this, done over 100 videos, I believe, on AMC, and it's just totally tanked. I think that Hollywood is really suffering a lot. I think that AI, writers, all this stuff, a lot of stuff's going on. And also, I've been paying more attention to games and stuff. I've been having fun with that. And I feel like the same kind of things happening in Hollywood that's happened with games, where that there are these big studios, AAA games, and they just get kind of bloated, corporate overhead, stuff like that, large HR departments. And really you just need a really strong creative team. And we kind of see that with Marathon coming out just recently. I haven't played the game, not really too interested in it, but it's been kind of compared to Arc Raiders that it's going to be like the Arc Raiders Killers, or that Arc Raiders is not as good, whatever. But Arc Raiders is a smaller indie game, and I love it. It's so much fun. And I feel like that's kind of what we need in Hollywood, is to get away from these big budget bloated films and really come back to the movie magic, like Terminator 1, stuff like that, his face, all that stuff. How did they do it? Puppets, whatever, I don't know. So anyways, I could ramble on about that, but I think a lot of stuff needs to change, and also things to not be so political and messaging and all of this stuff. I just want entertainment. And on that note, I'm really excited for Project Hail Mary. I don't know if you've read the book by Andy Weir. It's an excellent book. His books are really easy to read. I'm not the best reader, but I did read The Martian, which was his first book, over the course of a weekend. Insanely fast reading for me. Very easy to read. He had another book that was based on the moon. It was a heist movie. I'm forgetting it. Or a heist book, I should say. And that is, maybe it'll come to me, but right now it's not. But anyways, Project Hail Mary is his third book. Excellent. I'm really excited to see the movie that comes out on the 20th. So that's exciting. I'm excited about that. But generally, AMC stock, it's right around $1. And, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I kind of have this thesis that if a stock, breaks below 2, starts heading towards 1, if I was a short seller, which I'm not, it would be like, gold medal to push it to below $1, because then there's risk of the company, the stock, being not compliant and having to do a reverse split. And so I think that could be happening with AMC at this point. It did close on Friday. That would have been the 13th. I don't know if you're superstitious or anything. As far as Friday the 13th goes, I'm not. Generally, I just like to have fun with that stuff. But yeah, closed the week on the 13th at 109. Not such a good look. 9 cents above $1. And it's just been fading lower and lower. This line here, maybe I'll remove my drawings if this is the right button there. I haven't been engaged with the market lately. But yeah, it's just been, lower highs below the 20-day moving average, I believe is the light blue line there. Also lower lows. Maybe there's double bottom here, but I mean, we hit all-time low, March 11th at a price of 108. And we basically closed the week at the low, all-time low. Maybe, we see higher lows a little bit, although this is a lower low in the RSI, so maybe there's some bullish divergence there, but generally, I mean, I just think this seems really weak. Cantonese Cat did point out that, this is coming down very massively, and considering the copper to gold ratio, that we could be starting like a new cycle, and so maybe that would be like a bottom for AMC. Possibly. He didn't say he was buying. I'm not buying. I'm not selling, but I am selling some covered calls, in all honesty. Basically going up to about 2 weeks into the future, I sell 1 or 2 covered calls on a weekly basis. So the ones that are 2 weeks in the future, it end up being 2 of them. Strikes of $1.50 and $2, just to make 1 cent times 100 shares is $1 on a weekly basis. Really not that exciting, but that's something that I tend to do, just to be honest with you guys. But what I was thinking about with this $100 is, maybe AMC keeps going down. Maybe there's a reverse split. Maybe this is the bottom. Who knows? But, either way, I mean, I've been saying, I've been hoping, we've all been hoping that this is the bottom for years. Almost half a decade, or maybe half a decade. Yep, half a decade. Half a decade, basically. And, yeah, this is just not doing it for me. So what I was thinking is I'd sell 100 shares of AMC. I had in my mind, I think I was on a walk or something when I had this idea. I'm not sure. I had $111 in my mind. But here we see the closing price from Friday, 109. And so what I think I'm going to do, overnight trading, so I can place an order before I go to work to buy based on, whatever trade stands out to me. So I would sell 100 shares of AMC for $109 to $111, somewhere around there. Depends on where it's trading at. In the overnight, let's say 109. Let's just do that. what's something that looks like it might be a good trade. So let's kind of go down the list. Here are stonks. And actually, maybe before going into the stonks, let's look over at AMC here. And I'm just going to pull up, whatever random contract. I haven't been over here in a little while, so let me see. How do I do this? Oh, crap. I thought there would be a button to expand this. So maybe not. Maybe, 1 second. Sorry, this is rough, but I want to look at the, I don't usually look at stuff like this. I wanted to look at the max pain and stuff, so maybe we'll just go over to here, flow data, and I want to go to the Greeks. So we'll just do it like this, no big deal. I'm going to type in AMC up here just to kind of see what's the max pain. It's $1, so I'm not really too concerned about price going up super high or squeezing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's going towards $1, so I'm not going to worry about that. Let's just assume that. There's nothing that stands out. That's telling me this is going crazy. I'm not going to dive into it too deep. Anyways, let's go down the list here. And I'll talk about, what I'm thinking about these stocks. These are all ones that I hold in my Webull account, so I'm probably not going to trade them, but I'll just go down the list anyways. So ASST, this is Strive. I've done some videos on this. This is from Mike Albert, Colin Gladman. He just put out a video today, so I would encourage you to check that out if you want some stock analysis. I think that he's a great person to listen to, consider his opinion. He's not always right, but I think that he's a really great thinker. And as far as, he shares, which I think is very transparent, I think he's a great trader, one that I aspire to be like. But he pointed out the reverse split over here, that just not being very good. And this just coming down a bunch. So he's been spot on with that. For me, ASST, Strive, I'm not buying any more of it. Got a small position, and I'm kind of done with it. I'm just going to hold what I have. No big deal. No sweat. So that's not one that I'm going to trade. Another one, backed, BKKT. This is another one. Mike Albert. Maybe I'll add to my position, but I'm not going to trade this one. So off the table. BMNR, this is, one, I think that if you're bullish on Ethereum, which I am, like long term, I think Bitmine Immersion Technologies, which is Tom Lee's Ethereum treasury company, I think that this is probably a great way to get leverage on Ethereum. I have a small position. I'd like to get more. I'm not sure where I have my next buy at, which would probably just be for one more share, maybe at 18, maybe at 19. I'm not sure. Maybe lower than that. I don't know. But yeah, because of that, I'm not going to trade it. Exposed enough to crypto. I kind of want to have a different strategy here. Another one, Cypher. This is Mike Albert as well, but also kind of contrary to, Colin talking very poorly about Strive, ticker symbol ASST. The person that he works very closely with, or is his teammate basically, the Bronx Viking, has talked a lot about Cypher. And looking at the chart here, aside from any Mike Albert stuff, don't want that to bias, my opinion or influence my opinion. But seeing that, I think that Mike Albert knows what he's doing. I think that maybe sometimes people get a little too cocky or, whatever, hubris, all of that. Maybe that happened with him with ASST. I don't know. But I'm not, I'm not going to let that influence me. What does influence me is, or what I'm intrigued by, I guess I should say, is the Bronx Viking talking about this. Looking at the chart here, it is right around that's going to be the 200-day simple moving average. You've got 20, 50, 100, 200-day moving average. The red line, that's at 1247. What was the low on Thursday, March 12th? The low was 1303. We are, if we zoom in here, should make sure that is on the log scale. Yeah. We are putting in higher lows. It's kind of a double bottom there. This is intriguing for a breakout. I mean, it looks like it's a really nice big bull flag. And yeah, I mean, I think that this could come down to 12. I don't know. This is one I'm going to put in my notepad if I have a pen here. Let's see. We are, what month are we on? I have a monthly notepad I've not been using, or a weekly notepad I've not been using. So actually, it's daily. Okay, so March 15th, Sunday, one that I am intrigued by is Cypher. And I would say I'm intrigued by this in the 12 to 13 range for a swing trade. But this, could potentially last for longer. Also, I do have this in my like Webull portfolio, so maybe this is not the best one for me to swing. But I'll just note that maybe we'll come back to it. GameStop, again, talked about this, Roaring Kitty, all of that. I have a position. Maybe I'll add if it goes down to 23 or so, but this is not one that I'm going to swing, trade, or anything like that. Mara, again, same type of thing. This is lower lows. I mean, I think that this is a good time to be accumulating these. Not 6 months ago, not a year ago, but now. But yeah, so this is not one that I'm going to trade because I'm already trading it. MicroStrategy. I'm going to come back to a stock related to MicroStrategy, which is Stretch, I believe, STRC. I think that one's actually a very interesting way to save, as opposed to like a high interest savings account. So I'm intrigued to do that once I pay off the debt. Might start moving, money into Stretch rather than a savings account. And I think that's kind of an interesting strategy. But yeah, strategy here. This is one that I do hold a small position in. I am in the red. I think I have 2 shares, so very small. But if it goes lower, I'd take advantage of that. Neo, somebody was just asking about this a few days ago, and I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 4, and, people would still be asking about it. This did break out, doing a higher high, so that looks really good. I could see a retest of around 530. So I'm actually going to note that. Well, actually, let's think about this more critically. So Neo, 530 is what I'm thinking, but we could do a little bit of a fib retracement here, going from the low here up to the high, just being approximate. 530, that's a 382. But actually, we do have a gap right here. That's around 492. And we do have the blue line, which is the 50-day simple moving average. That's a 488. So I would say I'm intrigued by this. 490 to $5 for a swing trade. Maybe. So I'm noting that, and we will move on. And this is one I do not hold. I do not hold Neo anymore. Okay, Open Door. This is one I do hold a small position in. This is Mike Alfred, also Anthony Pompliano, also others. So I find this to be an intriguing one. Housing market, stuff like that. I think it's very interesting. Also, I mean, I made a video over here talking about how this could happen, but I think that it could still consolidate in this range. And now it's, what did it close at? 495. We are still putting in, I mean, this is, yep, I don't know. I mean, I think $5 is a great entry for this, but I think it could be going down to 4. I don't know. I'll put open on this as a question mark at, well, I'll do 4 to 5, but probably not going to do that one. All right, Rivian, this is one that I'm dollar cost averaging into. I actually live in a fairly small town, and we have Amazon, of course. And I've seen the Rivian vans for Amazon in Chicago years ago, but I have not seen them here until a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago. Very exciting to see. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of a longer term thing for me. I'm not too concerned. Slowly stacking, building a position, nothing to get emotional about. SBET, this is, crypto. Not going to worry about it. It's above the 20-day simple moving average, which is at 719. So maybe that holds as support, maybe not. I don't know. Snap. This is one that, we did put in a lower low here, although there is some bullish divergence there. Lower low, higher low. This has gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days red. I mean, if we're going to include that green one, maybe it's going to bottom soon. But I just see that, right around $7, there's a lot of resistance. So I think my average is around 8. I don't have a large position. I'm just going to sell at, I think, a 10% loss, which I think might be like 713, 712. I'm not sure, somewhere around there, right around $7. Or maybe I'm just saying that because this is at 712 right there. I'm not sure. It doesn't matter to me. It's a small position. But yeah, this is just one that I don't need to hold. And that was really like, a video based on kind of a trade that sort of played out, but not as extensively as one would have hoped. And, just I'm not just going to be doing videos weekly, daily because people request them. We have to be able to think for ourselves, and it just stops being interesting. And I think that this is probably going to have some resistance at 7, and so I'm not going to sell at the lows here. I will sell at a loss at 7 though, right around there. Tesla below 400. I really want to add more to my Tesla position. I think I just have 3 shares, so it's pretty small. But yeah, I'm just going to chill. Maybe it comes down lower. And, the low 300, sub 350. That might be a nice time to start adding. Once I paid off that soon to have interest debt and only have 0 APR debt, then, maybe I can get back into adding to my Tesla. But as of right now, I'm chilling. Unity Software, I believe, I don't know if you guys play Resident Evil Requiem, but when opening that game, one of the, I don't know if it's developers, studios, whatever, Unity something. So I believe it might be affiliated with Unity Software. It might not be though. I'm not sure, but yeah, cool company. This has reclaimed the 20-day simple moving average, which is right around 1924. So hopefully it can hold there. But maybe not. I don't know. Amy, this is one I have a small position in. I'm in the green. This is, rare earth elements that's US based. This was recently changed from, I think, New York Stock Exchange of Americas to New York Stock Exchange. So that's great. It makes me think that the company's doing well. Maybe that's a sell the news type of thing. But yeah, I've got a fairly small position, but just gonna be chilling, adding, not gonna be trading this for the thing here. But yeah, so now let's just come down, look at the TRL list, ticker request live. I used to do that. And let's just look at some of these tickers. Maybe there's some trade, something that looks intriguing, maybe not. I'm just going to kind of go through them kind of quickly. So Iron, I don't have a position in this. I do have a buy placed at $34, and excuse me, that's partly because I believe Bitcoin mining guy on X was being bashed, and somebody was like, oh, it's going, sub 35 or sub 34 or 33, something like that. And he was like, I don't see it going below 34. And so, it's like, oh, okay, well, challenge accepted. The low here on March 9th was 35.63. Maybe if it goes below 34, that's like a panic dip buying opportunity. And, so I just get 1 share. But this is one that I've avoided. I remember hearing about it all up here. Even I got this doodle up here suggesting it would go up to infinity. That didn't happen. And yeah, I could see it coming back to, 30s, low 30s, maybe upper 20s. So I'm just being patient, just chilling. It did bounce from the 200-day simple moving average, the red line there. So that's kind of intriguing. But yeah, this is not one for me to trade like this. Maybe I would get, one share at 34. But yeah, Rumble, this has been asked about recently. This is below the 20-day simple moving average. It's lower lows here. I don't think it looks good. I think that it's probably going to be boring if it's finding a bottom before going up, or I think it's going to continue the trend of going lower. It's lost all of the moving averages and it's not breaking out. Maybe it breaks out the start of the week. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea. Just this is not one that I'm going to trade though. XWell, somebody requested this. I'm not sure what it is. It's already moved, so not going to be doing that. Sunrun, this has come down. I think we have been hearing about solar in China, Elon talking about that and how they're really ramping up their solar. So I think solar is something that's very interesting. But this does look like a big downside move. Consolidation, looks like a bear flag. So not going to be trading this one. Prego company. This has totally broken down. Doesn't look good. BBAI, Cantonese Cats, talked about this. It does look like it's in this little bit of a wonky channel I previously drawn. I'm not going to do it. Let's see. BATL, Battalion Oil Corporation. This is very intriguing. Upside move, pullback consolidation. I guess this was a bull flag. Bull flag, breakout. Maybe it keeps going higher. Maybe it doesn't. I could see this as being kind of a top right there, but maybe not. Lots of stuff going on in the world that could send oil higher. I'm not going to do this one. I think it's already had some very nice moves, and I missed them. Oh well. TNGX, Tango Therapeutics, not familiar with it. Just had a big move. This was up 36%. I'm not going to do it. IQST, this is just going down. And I'm actually going to remove some of these ones that I'm not familiar with. Let's see. I will just delete them from this. No offense. Sorry if you requested them. It's kind of interesting. This, nope. IQST, nope. Fly, this is like space. Just had a big move up, gap up, two big wicks up. I think it's going to get rejected, pull back, fill this gap. So, no, but I am curious about the company. So, I'll keep watching it. QuantumScape. This is pulled back to the 618. Maybe it's forming a bottom here. QuantumScape is interesting at this point. I don't hear people talking about it. And QuantumScape 660, or maybe we want Dance with the Devil. Do 666. Maybe that's a bad omen. Sorry if I'm jinxing you. But yeah, we'll look at that. The U's, I think the Bronx Viking talks about this one a good amount. Looks like it's being caught by the, let's see, 100-day simple moving average, the purple line there. But yeah, I'm not going to do this one. FMST, Foremost Clean Energy. Yeah, I don't know what this is doing. I was wrong here about this, coming down so sharply, but maybe I was just early and it's going to happen. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one. I'm going to remove it. ATLX, Lithium, I'm intrigued, but I don't know this one, so not going to do that. Let's see. LAC, Lithium Americas. I got a lot of crap drawn up here. So let's clean this up a little bit. Oh, man. Maybe that line is one that I want to keep there. But yeah, this broke below it. This broke below it. That broke below it. That broke below it. Didn't do this. I think that it's at a very interesting point in time. This is the retracement from here up to the top, pulling back to the 618 at 430. This does look like, maybe it's a little bit of a head and shoulders. Maybe it's a fake out, get people to think it's bearish, and then it forms a bottom at the 200-day simple moving average right around 440. So let's see. I'm intrigued by this for a weekly trade. All this stuff's weekly trade, maybe around 440. And so we'll look at the data and see which is most appealing. NB. This is Niocore development. I'm not sure about this, but yep, looks kind of like it's playing out as I drawn, but gone even lower. I'm not familiar with it. I'm gonna, did I remove it? No, I clicked the wrong spot. There we go. Resolve. This one was a pretty popular video that I put out. But again, it's like when stuff moves, you can caution about the move being nearly over, or that it might be turning around. It did put in a lower low. Yeah, I mean, I think that YouTube really rewards bad behavior in the markets. I think this is an example of that. I'll keep it up here because I've done some videos on it and stuff, kind of familiar with it. Maybe this is forming bullish divergence with the lower lows here, higher lows here. Could be, but I'm going to stay away from it. Path or iPath, UiPath, I guess. This one, not really that familiar with it. I'm going to leave it alone. CleanSpark, crypto. I think I should leave it alone, but I'll leave it up there because I'm familiar with the company and stuff. USAR, I have Amy. USAR, similar, but different. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it up there, though, because I like it. Rocket Lab. Not going to do this one. Rocket Realty. This has been just falling off a cliff. Maybe it's, going to find some support there, but maybe not. I don't know. I do get requests that sometimes, but I'll add it back up here. No problem. Givo, also with that one. Had a nice move. I think it's cooling off. I'm going to roll over, retest these moving averages. Which one is it going to settle at? I don't really know. The 100-day simple moving average is at 208. The red line is the 200-day. Purple is the 100-day at the top. But the 200-day is at 185, so right around $2 there. I think it could be pulling back, finding support. Let's see, NWBO. Not familiar with this one. This is a penny stock. I'm not interested, sorry. VLN. I think this had a big move, and I think I cautioned about it pulling back, and it did. Good to not be greedy. Finger. I'm not familiar with this one. This did not happen how I had drawn it. And take it off. UEC, this is uraniums. This is interesting. Maybe pulling back to that 200-day simple moving average. Interesting, but I'm not going to do it. And this next one is, let's see if I can click it. AST Space Mobile. I know it's Space Mobile, but I like saying Space Mobile. Lower highs, lower highs. I mean, this looks like it's, pulling back to maybe continue higher. I have no idea. I'm not going to trade it, though. Soundhound. Soundhound. This is, I don't know. Maybe kind of interesting. Maybe there's a bottom there that's being formed, so I'll note that one as well. I've got too many on my list. But let's see. Soundhound, that would be around what was the low for Friday? 7:15. So let's say 7:30. Let's just do, what the close was at. Maybe that's one to look into. NVIDIA, not going to do this one, but, we can look at it. What's this going to do? I don't know. It's finding the 200-day moving average as support. Maybe that's something. Envitas Semiconductor Corporation. Maybe this is a bull flag. It's going to continue higher. I don't know. I don't really follow that one, so I'm going to remove it. Palantir. Bull flag, maybe continue higher. I don't know, but I'm not going to do that one for a trade. Plug Power. This is one that I got out of. I probably could have sold a little bit higher, but it's, some of them get emotional. And that one I've had a good amount of success on YouTube that can influence my decisions. And so I'd kind of like to distance myself from that. Let's see, Highcroft Mining. This one, maybe this is a double top. Maybe it's coming down more. It did just close the week below the 50-day simple moving average, that blue line there. So maybe it's coming down to the 100-day, and that's at like 25.65. Oh, sorry, I hit the mic. Don't shoot the messenger. That's just, maybe. I don't know. Poet. Covered this a few times. I remember it, but I'm going to remove it here. This is C Limited. This is kind of falling off a cliff. Maybe it's reclaiming some ground, going to go higher. I don't know. URGN, Eurogen Pharma. I don't really know. It looks like it's breaking down below the 200-day simple moving average, so I think it could be coming down to like $10. Not going to do it. Lucid Motors, what happened to this one? This is around 9. Yep. This is actually one that's kind of interesting for a swing. 990. Okay, Intel. This is one I had some down here. I think 18, something like that. Sold it a few weeks before it moved. Maybe a couple of weeks, maybe 1 week before it moved. I don't know. Or maybe, at the start of this breakout, I took profits. I don't know. This is one that I'm really interested in. This is Biglari Holdings Incorporated. You may not have heard of them, but this is like the parent company of Steak and Shake. And I've been really intrigued by them, by their emphasis on their tallow fries, their quality meat, the Bitcoin that they're leaning into, that they now give, I believe, 21 cents per hour Bitcoin bonus to hourly employees. That they have a fund now, I believe, to deposit $1,000 in their employees' kids' account, all the new kids that are born. And so, whether that's leaning into Trump presidency and some of the initiatives that he's having, who cares? Whether you like Trump or not, I just think that that's really nice. They're also going to be doing tater tots. They have the Patriot Shake that they were just doing for January to celebrate the 250th birthday of the USA. But they've extended that to the end of July. $2.50. It's like a birthday cake milkshake. Pretty tasty if you got a sweet tooth. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're doing, business in, I think, a very good, responsible way. And I had never really been to Steak and Shake before. I had seen their, promotion of the Bitcoin burger and stuff like that. Very tasty burger. So yeah, I'm intrigued by them. I was intrigued at around 400, but I thought, I don't need to hold it. I'll wait. Now it's around 300. And I must say, I'm kind of intrigued if this were to come down to like 200. I don't know that that would happen. I think probably like 275, but this would not be for a trade. This would be for like a long-term investment. Just believing in the company, maybe getting a couple shares, accumulating in fractions of shares over time. Yep, so I'm intrigued by that, but not for like a weekly trade. ENB, Enbridge, I'm not familiar. It looks like it's pretty high up, so I'm gonna delete it. Beam, this is therapeutics. It's topped, whatever. I don't know. This is, it's not a penny stock, but, 25 bucks, not a penny stock, but I'm going to remove it. Just keep this simple. OPKO, health, I don't know. This is 119, might be going to $1. Let's remove that. ANVS, I don't know, 250. Having a hard time with these moving averages, could be breaking down lower. I don't know. TMDX, I don't know, below all those moving averages, could be going lower. Bohr, this is drilling, maybe finding support around the 20-day simple moving, 50-day simple moving average, but could be coming down to the 100-day. I don't really know. I don't really know it. Did a video on it because it was requested, but just because it's requested doesn't mean that there's anything to it. And so let's see, Iovance Biotherapeutics. Maybe it's finding support here, but I think it more likely finds support down here around 3. I don't know. I'm going to remove it. Questive. This is one that, I really nailed some analysis. Maybe over here. Maybe it was over here. I forget. But I just didn't stick to it long enough. But also Questive Therapeutics, I don't really know it too well. I'm going to leave it up there. I got some history. Might be curious to check on it. Vertical Aerospace Ltd. This looks like it's not really doing too good. 374 EVTL. Maybe I'll look at it. I'm going to put a question mark on it. Because probably not. I should put the... I do 369. It's close enough to there. EOSE. EOS Energy. I was very intrigued by this, but then this gap down happened, and I think that, it's collapsed. And so maybe it could, get up to 10, 1030, where the 200-day simple moving average is, 1025. But even to get up there, it'd have to go above the 20-day simple moving average. So, I mean, things really collapsed for this. There's now a bunch of resistance above. The upside potential has, been lost, that momentum. So this is one that I'm not interested in anymore. I was intrigued by it, but not interested in it anymore. Let's see, Oracle, not too familiar. I'm going to remove it. CoreWeave, I feel like there's been some controversy around this or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty. NBIS, I think something kind of similar. I don't know. This is kind of breaking out. I don't know. Velo 3D. This, not going to worry about it. MSOS, marijuana stocks. Yep. I don't know. It's below these moving averages. I'm not going to worry about it. Tilray. Split has occurred. Adjust drawings. There we go. Yeah, when did that split happen? Over here. What was that? That was a, I'm not sure if that was a reverse split or a split. Looks like it was a split, but I'm not going to worry about it. Too much history with this, Cannabis, yeah. So I think I basically have my list of ones that I want to look into for maybe a trade for the week. So let's dive into those. And we're going to go back to the first one on the list, which is Cypher. So let's go over here, and actually I might want to open this up like this. Flow data and contract lookup. I might have some for Cypher over here that are expiring very soon. So yeah, bookmarks, and let's just organize these alphabetically. So Cypher right here, this is coming up, and we can see, excuse my neck and back cracking. Don't really see anything too exciting here. So that's one that I'm going to have to say I'm not interested in for a weekly trade. The next one on the list is going to be NEO. Let's look at some of these. We've seen some buying over here, accumulation. We do see net call premium coming down. So this might suggest selling of covered calls as price goes up, and that could mean that this is going to roll over here. Oh, and maybe I want to, before we get into NEO any deeper, let's just look over here at Cypher. What's the max pain for this week? 1450, and that's, but then it goes down to 13. No, that was past. So 13, that's around where it's at. So yeah, so the next one, NEO. Let's look at NEO's max pain before I forget. $4. That's lower. I mean, it could be pulling it down. So I think it could be topping. And I think that if I say NEO's topping, people are going to get very emotional and cry about it. I'm going to get annoyed and never do another stock video again. But then I'd make money buying puts on it or something. I have no idea. Don't be emotional. It doesn't look good and it doesn't serve you well. But yeah, let's come over here. Looking at that, I'm kind of intrigued, in maybe, yeah, like NEO. I think on my phone, maybe I had something that looked like NEO was top. I'm just going to look. I don't really look at NEO too often. More because I don't hold it. We have a trend line that kind of looks like, I don't know. Let's see. No, it's March of 2025. Is that over here? I'm not really sure. I think I drew a trend line like this. Kind of wonky. And then it, kind of intersects there. I could see this topping. I could see it taking a little while. So maybe I want to get a put. Maybe that would be the trade for the week, but I don't necessarily want to get into options for this weekly thing. So yeah, that's not what I want to look at over here. Okay. Just gonna reorganize these. Sorry about that. Then we got some other contracts. These are all calls. I mean, if I had shares, I'd be selling. If I had Neo shares, if I had over 100 Neo shares, I'd be selling some covered calls right now. But I don't. So I'm not going to buy. Maybe I'll buy puts. Maybe I'll come back to it. But yeah, I think that Neo looks like it's topping. You say whatever you want about that. Open is another one. This doesn't look too crazy over here with the options. Let's look at the chart. Yeah, so I mean, not interested in open. Let's look at another one. QS QuantumScape. Where do I have that? Over here. Kind of looks like a bear flag, but maybe it's bottoming at the 618. So let's look QS up. Do I have it at all over here? No. So just bookmark. So let's type in QS. Highest volume from Friday the 20th. $7. That's sorted by volume traded. It could just be because the expiration's coming up. Longer term. August, $10. 38,000 traded on that. You see the number over here. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This looks potentially interesting. This is 90 days for this contract. Let's go back. Let's just do a month. Okay. So kind of big volume. I think Ed might be blocking that. Sorry if he is. Maybe I'll have Ed step out of the way. Kind of, big increases here. But let's go the past 7 days. Big drop in net put premium. That was on the 6th. This is on the 10th, this candle here. So the 6th would have been right here. Doesn't really make sense. This is a net put premium drop of, I mean, this doesn't look too crazy. 100,000. That stands out as selling of puts. So maybe we actually want to go back to this day, the 6th. Let's just do one day and then rewind. Is that rewind? To the 6th, we see this was at 2:05 in the afternoon. Net put premium started dropping. So let's come back over here. We want to look at, what was I just looking at? QS. And I want to limit the date range to the 6th. It's just the 6th at 2:05. Should be some big orders, $100,000 right here. That's around, what time was it? 2:05, exactly right. We see some more orders there. And that was $18 put that expired on Friday. So yeah, this is all late. This is the 27th. This is a put. Maybe they're just rolling it. I don't know. Seems like maybe that was well, I don't know. It doesn't say it was a multi-leg. Yeah, this is another one. This is still in the future, the 27th, a couple weeks from now. And this was just 100, 200. Yep, on the 6th there. And that suggests selling. And that's kind of like a bet that they think that this could be going up towards, not necessarily to, but towards 17. So that's kind of suggesting a breakout. So I'm kind of intrigued by QuantumScape. I'm most intrigued by QuantumScape. I think that could be going up. And you know, maybe I'm wrong and then I just cut my losses on Friday. You know, because there is a gap down here. This could be going, you know, dropping 20% or so. Yeah, so QS, I'm intrigued by that one. But let's check the, what is it, Max Payne. Insider sold on 311. So maybe I'm actually a little concerned about this. Let's open up the insider transactions. Chief financial officer selling. And there have been some sales in March. The CLO, the chief legal officer, as well as the chief technology officer, but that was actually a conversion. And so you can see that, you know, right there. I'm not really sure how that works. But yeah, there have been sales in March. How big are those sales? Value hundreds of thousands of dollars. So maybe that's concerning. I got the Greeks over here, so I can do that, you know, very easy. Was I already looking at this? I can't remember. $7, 750. I think that this could potentially be going up for a move. And so if this were to be the trade, I'd want to have a stop loss. And so that's something to consider. But yeah, let's look at the next one, which is going to be LAC. I don't think I have that over here. So I'll just search that. Let's see. Just pull this up. One day seems, you know, Friday there. 7 days. It doesn't really stand out to me as anything too crazy. And we can then look over here at LAC. And let's see. $5. And that's up. But yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing enough here to be persuaded. Soundhound is the next one. Maybe it's, I mean, it is a higher low. But yeah, let's look up Soundhound over here. Maybe I got some list. I don't. Let's look up Sound. Let's just go with the one on the top. Go over the past 7 days. Nothing really stands out too much. Nothing too crazy. Go back the past 30 days. I mean, I'd have to say I am intrigued by this one. What are other contracts? $8 and 9. This is past. Leap. Wait, that's not Leap, that's past. This one's Leap. 2028. I mean, I'm intrigued by this. I'm kind of intrigued by it. Soundhound. And this would have a nice stop loss level, I think, at like $7. So yeah, I think I'm kind of intrigued by Soundhound. But let's look at Max Payne. Contract lookup. Nope. Max Payne, Soundhound. 758. I feel like I already talked about this. Um, yeah, so kind of intrigued. What was over here? I'm not sure what I had over there. Oh yeah, because I searched something on QuantumScape. Okay, the next one on the list, Lucid, kind of controversial, I think. Maybe something's gonna happen. It looks like, I mean, it could be breaking down. There's higher lows, higher highs. This is no divergence there, because the higher lows. Maybe it breaks down. Not a lot of volume. But yeah, let's look up Lucid. Search that. This is, again, coming up this Friday, $10. Out of the money currently. I'm not too compelled by this. Let's look over here, past 7 days. Buying of puts maybe, yeah, so I'm not interested in Lucid. And then so EVTL. Oh, well, before I do that though, I've got to check the max pain for Lucid. 12. Price is lower than that. That could suggest prices going up higher, or it could suggest it's just going to go a lot lower than max pain. And before I forget, let's just do EVTL. Search that here. $5. It's monthly. Can't be paying attention to that. Earnings coming up on the 24th. I'm probably not interested in this one because of that. It doesn't look so good. EVTL, it's not going to have a lot going on because it's only monthly contracts. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm not interested in this one. So the two that I am interested in, QuantumScape and SoundHound, let's evaluate them to see what I think is, potentially an intriguing trade for the course of the week, beginning Monday, ending Friday. Stop loss and everything. Got to have a plan. Okay, so for QuantumScape, let's look back over here at this. So I'm just gonna pull it back up, whatever I was looking at. I think it was like over the past 7 days. It's the selling of puts. It's intriguing. Maybe a bottom's gonna be formed. QuantumScape, 750. Price is lower than that. I mean, I haven't been paying attention too closely, but I haven't really seen too much or heard too much about QuantumScape. So maybe this is an intriguing one. It's at 673. And so let's say I sell 100 shares of AMC at 109. Let's take that 109, divide it into two parts. And maybe I'm doing it on my calculator on my phone. Maybe I'll pull up the calculator on my computer. And then you guys can kind of see my math. Not sure what that math is. Hopefully I'm just going to make sure you guys can see the calculator there, so that's good. Okay, so 109, let's say I sell 100 shares at the closing price from Friday at $1.09. And divide that into two parts. I got 54.50. And let's divide that into $6.66 because that's what I'm thinking about buying some QS at. And that would be about 8 shares. So I can get 8 shares of QS at 666. And then I would have a stop loss. What was the low over here? 639. Well, let's see. 666 times point. I could do this on the screen. I don't need to do it on my phone. So let's see. 666 times 0.9, so taking a 10% loss, that'd be around $6. 10% loss, I can do it. Not a big deal. And maybe it sweeps the low here. But yeah, I mean, if it, like, where's this over here? That's 5. So if it comes down to 6, maybe it's going to go down to 5. And I'd be preventing myself from it going lower. So let's say stop loss at 6. So buying 666, selling stop loss at $6, and then see where it goes over the course of the week. I'm intrigued by that. That's better than just holding, not buying any more AMC, but just holding. It's boring. But, boring can be a winning strategy, but so far it's not been. So you can try something different. And the other one that I was interested is SoundHound. Right here, I got kind of a compelling stop loss there. Now this is at 7:30. So let's see. I'm not going to do it on my phone. I will do it on the screen. So we've got 109 divided into 2 parts, divided into 730. It's about 7 shares. But maybe I could do 8. Let's think about this. So I'm just going to clear that. So I got 109 minus 8 times 666. 5572. And then so let's divide that by 730. Still 7. So I just do 7 shares of SoundHound. And then I could evaluate, what's the low over here? 705. Maybe I just do stop loss at, gotta have fun with numbers. 69. $6.90 is the stop loss. So I'm intrigued by that. And let's just come back over here to look at SoundHound. Oops. And it's been going up, past 7 days. Not really as exciting as QuantumScape, if you ask me. But yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting for a week-long trade. Both of these for week-long trades. So yeah, that was for Sunday. I'm noting that. So then I'm thinking for Monday, I will have, which actually might even be for this evening. I'm not going to say, the selling of 100 AMC shares. I guess I just did say it. But QuantumScape, do a plus sign, QuantumScape at 666, I'm going to times $6.66 times 8 shares with a stop loss at $6, I believe is what I'm saying. And then I would also do SoundHound at, I believe I said 730. And I would do 7 of those, I believe. Seven of those with a stop loss at $6.90. Yeah, and so we'll see what happens. And so, hey, you do you, I'm doing me, I'm sharing it. This, I think, is going to get me a little more engaged with the market. And I think that this could leading to, kind of a weekly routine strategy for making money in the market. And, maybe both of these I lose over the course of this week, but each trade would be, you know, on a weekly thing. So I would not be in something diamond handing forever. These are just a couple of trades that seem interesting to me. And yeah, hopefully they seem interesting to you. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments. If I don't respond, I apologize. If I don't like it, I apologize. That's just because I tend to wait to like until I respond. And I just haven't really been too responsive lately. But yeah, I mean, if you want to come hang out, I am playing Resident Evil Requiem, Resident Evil 2, as well as Arc Raiders almost every day, streaming at least 3 times a week, just having some fun. Especially, with the like winter doldrums or the, seasonal depression type of stuff, being stuck inside, just having fun with that and not being weighed down by what's going on in the market and what social media, what negative things social media has to say about whatever. I'm just taking a break from that. But yeah, hopefully you did find this helpful. And if you did, please make sure you like, subscribe for really, more gameplay streams and periodic, long rambles about the stock market, crypto, whatnot like this. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a great weekend, having a great Sunday evening, and I hope you have a great week ahead. Bye, guys.